Thanks. It's great to be back in Brighton, and it's great to be back at the meeting. And of course, the last couple of times I've been here, I've talked and done workshops on happiness at work. But this year is completely different. This year there is no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm here to challenge you. I'm here to frighten you. I'm here to make you a little bit uncomfortable and show you how to be a workplace rebel. And let me show you something really scary first. I want to show you something called the Ash experiment. A short video from that. It was done for the first time in the 70s. And this is how it goes.
But an experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social forces, as the experiment of Solomon Asch reveals.
The experiment you'll be taking part in today involves the perception of lengths of lines. As you can see here, I have a number of cards, and on each card there are several lines. Your task is a very simple one. You're to look at the line on the left and determine which of the three lines on the right is equal to it in length. All right, we'll proceed in this order. You'll give your answer.
Only one of the people in the group is a real subject, the fifth person with the white T-shirt. The others are confederates of the experimenter and have been told to give wrong answers on some of the trials. The experiment begins uneventfully as subjects give their judgments.
2, 2, 2,
2,
2, 3,
3,
3,
3.
But on the third trial, something happens.
2, 2,
2.
2, 2.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence.
1.
Asch found subjects went along with the group on 37% of the critical trials. But he found through interviews that they went along with the group for different reasons.
So this is the famous Asch experiment in conformity. It's been repeated many, many, many times. They find the same thing again and again and again, that we tend to bow under the pressure of what other people are saying. Your eyes might be telling you one thing, you know that this is right, but everybody else is saying something else, and so you go along. And this is incredibly relevant for a conference like this today, because make no mistake about it, you guys who are here, us who are here, we are the exception, okay? And we can go back to our workplaces and our coworkers, and they may not agree with all the new ideas presented here today. And there's the risk that you conform. Even though you know that everything you've heard here today is right, you still go along with what everybody else is saying. What does that look like in the workplace? I talked to a manager from IBM where they do this forced ranking thing. He had 8 great employees working for him, and he was told by IBM, by the IBM system, that every year he must rank his employees with 25% top performers, 50% in the middle, and 25% bottom performers. And he goes, I can't do that. I have 8 employees, they're all fantastic, they all do great work. And he's told, you must do it or you're fired. And so he does it. Conformity in the workplace looks a little like this. This is a diagram of how the worst airline disaster in history happened. The Tenerife airline disaster, where 2 fully laden airplanes crashed into each other because of pilot error. The captain, very, very experienced captain of a KLM plane, took off against orders. And if you listen to the black box tape, you can actually hear his co-pilot disagreeing with him and saying, are you sure we have clearance for takeoff? And the pilot overrides him. The pilot goes, yeah, I'm sure we have the clearance. They take off and they hit on the runway. They hit another fully laden plane. Over 500 people died that day because one person knew this was wrong but conformed. And this is incredibly important, that we learn to say no in the workplace, that we learn to not conform. And these studies show that it's just incredibly easy. It is so easy to go along when everybody else is doing it, or especially when authority tells you to do it. And I'm thinking there's sort of a sliding scale of no in the workplace, that the no thank you. We have a meeting this afternoon, it's 2 hours. Could you come to that meeting? And you know that's a really boring meeting. You go, no thank you, I won't come to your meeting. We're really busy, can you come into work on Saturday? No thank you. I really need you to do this report. Thank you for the offer, but no thank you. So sometimes that's appropriate, and sometimes you really need to go to the hell no. The hell no. Then, you know, they're asking you to do work that you'll screw the customer. Hell no. They're asking you to do something that you know is morally or ethically wrong. Hell no. They're asking you to do something that compromises your values. Hell no. And that's incredibly hard. I want to show just one more experiment. This is not really an experiment. This is actually from a Candid camera show in the US.
The gentleman in the elevator now is a Candid star. These folks who are entering, the man with the white shirt, the lady with the trench coat, and subsequently one other member of our staff, will face the rear. And you'll see how this man in the trench coat tries to maintain his individuality, but little by little, he looks at his watch, but he's really making an excuse for turning just a little bit more to the wall.
So again, it's so easy to knuckle under. It's so easy to conform. Don't, okay? Maintain your individuality. How can you do that in practice? I have five very, very quick tips. First of all, knowing about conformity reduces conformity. So just by telling you about this, I have made you a little more likely to say no thank you or hell no the next time somebody asks you to conform. When you tell people about this experiment and how it works, the experiment doesn't work as well. Secondly, a really important point here is that when you're asked, you know, to do something, the consequences of saying no are usually very clear. You know, it might cost you your job, it might cost you your promotion, it might cost you, you know, career advancement or whatever. Those consequences are up front and center. But what are the consequences of saying yes? What are the consequences of going along and sacrificing your values or your integrity and doing something you actually don't believe in? What might that cost you? Consider the cost of saying yes and weigh that against the cost of saying no. I realize that this should say live cheaply, but I'm a rebel, damn it. How many of you conceivably could quit your work tomorrow and still be, you know, financially solvent? Just out of curiosity, how many of you? Yeah, so about half of you could, about half of you could not. So if you are stuck in that job, if you're dependent on that paycheck every single month, then you're stuck, okay, then you're a slave. Live your life in a way that you could actually financially survive for, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Quit tomorrow if somebody asks you to do something you didn't really want to. Which brings me back to brings me on to the next one, number 4. Quit. If you know, the workplace repeatedly asks you to do things that you don't want to do, that you believe are wrong, get the hell out of there. And maybe one of the most insidious things that's happened in modern workplaces is that quitting has been framed as something bad. Quitting has been framed as giving up, as being weak, but done in the right way and done for the right reasons. Quitting your job can be a heroic act. It can be the exact right thing to do. And I want way more people to quit jobs. What if all of the people who are asked to do illegal, immoral, bad things at work, what if all of those people quit their jobs tomorrow? There would be nobody left to do those bad things. I think that would be fantastic, which is why we're creating a new website that just launched today called internationalquityourcrappyjobday.com. And International Quit Your Crappy Job Day is March 31st next year. So there's time to prepare, and on that website there are a ton of resources for, you know, considering how to quit, whether you should quit, and if you decide, yes, I should, there's actually, you can fill it out and you can commit to quit. And we'll send you a little reminder to make sure you actually do it. And finally, my number 5 tip, find other rebels. Don't try to go it alone. And that's another of the insidious effects of modern workplaces, is that they isolate people. Here's a fantastic quote by a real revolutionary who fought for independence in help me out here. He was from Mauritius, fought for independence in Algeria, thank you. Frantz Fanon. And And he said the colonialist bourgeoisie had hammered into the native's mind the idea of a society of individuals where each person shuts himself up in his own subjectivity and whose only wealth is individual thought. The struggle will suggest to the revolutionary a different vocabulary: brother, sister, friend. These are words outlawed by the colonialist bourgeoisie because for them, my brother is my purse, my friend is part of my scheme for getting on. So my final tip here is find other rebels. You know, maybe you can team up with people inside of your organization, inside of your workplace, and together you can go against that conformity. A very interesting result from the Ash experiment is that if you change it just a little bit, you can actually get people to do the right thing all of the time. And that's if there's just one other person before them saying the right answer, then people don't conform. So can you find that other rebel in your workplace? Or maybe you can be that other rebel. Maybe you can be that person who sets somebody else free to do the right thing. But the important thing is don't conform. When you know something is wrong, don't do it, no matter how many other people are doing it, and no matter how much your boss wants you to do it. Thank you.